Forums, fiction, art, reviews. These are some of the components at play inside the Legend of Korra fandom, wherein fans discuss their affinity, or lack thereof, for the 2012 spin-off / continuation of the beloved series Avatar: The Last Airbender. Running for 52 episodes, this show developed quite the following in its own right, thanks to its diverse characters and mature plot lines, dealing with complex topics spanning from the change from religious to secular views, the evolving role of technology, changing geopolitical landscapes, and much more. On top of an appreciation for the show itself came an appreciation for a certain ship that had a rather unique arc. I'm talking of course about Korrasami, the pairing of Avatar Korra and the business mogul Asami. This is Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy, and let's get started. The Legend of Korra focused largely on the titular Korra as she grew and evolved as a person, learning to negotiate her role as Avatar within a changing world while she comes to know and accept certain truths about herself. On her journey, she picked up a cast of well-developed and interesting supporting characters, some of whom became romantic interests. Key amongst those was Mako, her boyfriend for a short period of time. It is here that her pairing with Asami began, as Asami was Mako's first girlfriend, and in fact Korra kissed him while the two were still together, which may sound like an odd jumping on point, but the minds of shippers work in mysterious ways. On the surface, Asami and Korra's relationship began as a traditional love triangle, both vying for Mako's affections. However, it deviated from the norm, in that there was very little antagonism between the two women, and in fact, both seemed more fascinated or perplexed by the other, as they boasted very distinct personalities. While the show placed Mako in an Archie-like position, having his relationship with each woman occasionally overlap, in the fan world, people began to ship the two women together. But why did this happen? Well, many people have grown tired of the standard love triangle format, having seen it be repeated in media over and over, and no matter how well handled, to some it felt played out, and they were more interested in exploring the relationship between these two women orbiting each other in the same social sphere, but not given much screen time together in early seasons. As the show progressed, the two developed a deepening friendship, attempting to spend more time together, particularly alone, and with Asami being the only person Korra wrote to during her self-imposed exile, those who were already shipping the pair kept being given more and more ammunition, while new shippers emerged, and even more people began to think the show itself was hinting or attempting to build up to an eventual relationship between the two. Those fan theorists were quick to rejoice when their theories became reality, as show's creators Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino confirmed their relationship upon the series' conclusion in 2014, with the tip-off point commencing when they enter the spirit world together, holding hands and gazing into each other's eyes. Konietzko said, "You can celebrate it, embrace it, accept it, get over it, or whatever you feel the need to do, but there is no denying it. That is the official story." Mike and I talked it over and decided it was important to be unambiguous about the intended relationship. I'm only sorry it took us so long to have this kind of representation in one of our stories. Thusly, this became one of those rare glorious moments for shippers when fanfiction and theory merged with canon fact to become reality. But while some were thrilled, others were more disconcerted. To explore some of the confusion, let's talk about canon likelihood. In the realm of fanfiction, art, and just dumb in general, there are things recognized as being more feasible than others, just based on the characteristics, situations, and rules set up by the fictional world. And it's this that some fans use to justify or delegitimize the ships of others, but for many it is simply the logic along which their affinities for certain ships develop. Now, while Konietzko did make some valid points about heteronormative assumptions being placed upon protagonists within storylines, there have been some interesting rumblings within this community that have left some afraid to say their true opinions, except on anonymous confession tumblers. That opinion being that while many people love this ship, some people just don't get Korrasami. Let's preface this by saying there is a lot of bigotry out there still when it comes to all issues regarding spectrums, orientations, and anything involving sexuality or gender identity. And there are some who dislike the pairing of Korrasami because it is a lesbian pairing, and that cannot be ignored. And as such, this inclusion in the mainstream of such a relationship for two such well-developed characters who got a happy ending is a huge step forward, and hopefully there can be more like it in the future. However, that does not mean that everyone who does not wish to acknowledge this ship, does not understand the appeal, or downright dislikes it is coming from a place of homophobia or hatred. Here are some other reasons why someone may not ship Korrasami. The relationship for many came straight out of nowhere. While many felt they saw hints and lingering hand-holding or an increased amount of affection between the two, many simply saw a burgeoning friendship, and an awkwardly developed one at that, particularly in comparison to other relationships within the story, particularly between Korra and Mako, or Asami and Mako, or heck, even Varric and Zhu Li, which were long, drawn out, and clearly addressed. As such, some felt this ship was unfairly privileged over the others, given its perhaps lack of canonical proof for many, though again this can be contested. However, not seeing the hints is again not a form of bigotry. Everyone comes from different experiences and cultural backgrounds. For example, in many countries of the world, hand-holding does not, well, hold a purely romantic connotation. Friends hold hands as well. So hailing from such a place, the hand-holding cue may not have seemed like anything at all. As always, some may have simply preferred other pairings, seeing more chemistry between different characters. There were also some fans who simply never really gelled with Korra, who found her to be abrasive and felt Asami would constantly be cleaning up after her due to her more rash personality. Or some who were put off by the initial assumptions Korra made about Asami, wherein she judged her for her perceived type of femininity.
So, what do you have planned for us today? Let me guess. Shopping? Makeovers?
Side note, there would have been nothing wrong with that if they had gone for makeovers. Every woman has the right to express her femininity how she sees fit. No one way is correct or superior or inferior to another, and shouldn't be belittled in order to bolster up another more supposedly strong form of expression. Also, there are many types of fans out there, and for some the main canon is it. They're not interested in interviews or postmortems or cons or time material. If it's in canon, it has to be there, which can lead to those oh so awkward debates as to who are true fans and who are not, which is a discussion unto itself. So for some who learned this information post-finale, their minds were already made up, their ship set, their stories told. And those in that mindset may also feel that creators doing this is just another way of imposing their sole authority over the text, and feel that if this was for a less beloved ship, people would feel just as stepped on as they do when it more typically occurs that a popular ship is denied canonically. For example, Johnlock, which is repeatedly denied by the creators. However, others think that some who hold this opinion are missing the cultural significance of the moment, which for them cancels any of the above potential reasonings. However, on yet another track, it is not uncommon for those in the non-dominant ship to feel belittled or overshadowed by the mainstream of the fandom. Given the subject matter of the debate, as you can imagine, hurt feelings abound. As with all ships, there are valid reasons for and against, and no one can glean someone's reasons for shipping at a glance, so blanket statements and antagonistic posts are always best avoided. Whether you feel their relationship was developed enough in the show or not, Korra and Asami do have a lot of potential. Both characters grow and change quite a bit throughout the show. The confident, assertive Asami growing into an even more competent and capable businesswoman, and the hot-headed, idealistic Korra becoming a more balanced and spiritual avatar. The two grow closer as they come to see past each other's rough edges, Asami appreciating Korra's brash assertiveness, while Korra respects Asami's level head mingled with a wild, experimental spirit. It is clear the two would and have had some zany adventures. Fiction and art include many works designed to fill in time gaps or missing scenes, along with extra adventures, particularly following the finale. For fans of slow-build relationships who picked up on / were receptive to subtle hints the show is dropping, they got to play with fics of hidden budding romance and or romantic discovery, which are topics many people can relate to, as the realization that a relationship is more than it first appears to be is something many people have gone through. And for those who wanted more Korrasami explored canonically, get excited, because The Legend of Korra will be continuing in comic book format, in a series that will pick up post Korra and Asami's adventure in the spirit world. At the time of this recording, it has been stated that this comic will consist of 3 volumes and explore many more avenues for these characters. It is slated for release in the fall of 2016. So if you're watching in what is my future and your present, or perhaps even past, share what you think or thought of this comic down below. The romance between Korra and Asami is meant to be a slow burn, a realization of a relationship that in no way negates the others that had come before it. It is simply something new for both the characters and the viewers. The show's creators confirmed that they made it as clear as they possibly could working with Nickelodeon, to hint but also to stay within the current guidelines for children's programming. One thing is for certain, love them, hate them, or neither, there is more of these two coming in the future. Are you guys Korrasami shippers, or was there another Legend of Korra pairing that caught your fancy? And yes, we will be doing Zutara. This was Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check out social media to stay up to date, and as always, stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.